When it comes to labels, many customers think they are getting a graphics program that lets you design labels and then see the result right on the screen. Our program works quite differently. It is more like a software with which you design a form, which is then automatically filled in with substance-specific information. Thus, when you design it, you can only see the outlines to be filled in, not the filled-in fields. In this way, the program is able to generate any type of label completely in mere seconds. During the following explanations, it is generally assumed that you know the principles of operation of ChemGes and are familiar with the usual aids of the program, such as overview screens and assistance through drop-down tables. It is quite simple to design a new label template. To do this, simply go into Maintenance of Labels and assign a template number either manually or automatically and set a label name for the label template. First, specify the dimensions of the label. Many standard sizes, which can be derived from the American letter format or the A4 format, which is used in the rest of the world, are already predefined. Custom formats can be easily created, specifying only the dimensions of each label and the number of labels per row and per column. To do this, let's start the graphical label design. First, we will create a simple label template that contains the minimum number of fields required by law. These are company name, product description and hazard data. On the left side you can see how the label will finally look like. First of all, some initial settings have to be made, whereby the program already provides defaults. The basic country determines which type of GHS classification is to be taken. If none is specified, then this is either specified in the GHS information, or, if this is also not entered, simply derived from the language. If several languages have been specified, then you can specify the order in which the different texts are to be output. In our example, we choose the option dividing into text blocks. This means that, as in a table, the texts are then arranged next to and below each other. The arrangement is done automatically, depending on the font size. The other options in this screen speak for themselves and we assume that they do not need to be explained separately. Country-specific rules, such as the Chinese rule, that the percentage of ingredients is required, are known by the program and applied automatically. To create a new field, double-click on the spot where you want to have it, or press the Insert key. Select a field type and adjust the dimensions to your needs. You will see that fields can be easily moved. The dimensions can be changed at any time by dragging one of the marker squares. The next field we want to define is the company name. Now, of course, the program must know how the field should be filled in. Right now the program knows only that this rectangle is for the company name, but it does not know the font type and font size. The program cannot know how the output should look like. So you have to set these properties by yourself. To do this, double-click into the field or click on Properties. First we choose the option, Centered, for the alignment. The selected font is Arial. You will notice that only the standard font types have been provided. The reason for this is that the label fields are automatically filled by the program and therefore every character that is theoretically possible in all languages has to be displayable. Many of our customers are not aware of it, but almost all available fonts have a reduced character set and would output non-displayable characters as squares, which should be avoided by using only these fonts. You can install additional fonts, but at your own risk. Minimum and maximum sizes are very helpful settings. Maximum size defines how large the largest characters within a text block may be. Assuming that it is defined from 16 to 24 points, then the program first tries to output the text with 24 points within the defined rectangle. If this does not work out, then it tries it using 23 points, then 22 points, and so on, until the text fits or until the minimum font size is reached. It is also possible to change the color of the font. Alignment can be achieved by selecting both fields by clicking on them and pressing Ctrl Shift or Alt at the same time. Then press Ctrl and one of the arrow keys. In our case we want to align the fields upwards and therefore, we press the key arrow up. The horizontal and vertical centering are useful functions, as all selected fields are centered depending on the dimensions of the longest field. If several fields are marked, they can be moved together. Proceed in the same manner with the company name too. We will show that with enhanced speed, since you already know the basic functions. If company name 2 is defined, then the field for the company name contains only the first line and the field company name 2 contains all the remaining lines, for example information such as address and telephone number. Now let's define the Ghs symbols. After selecting the appropriate field, a screen will appear where you can specify whether the arrangement of the symbols should be done automatically, or if you want to do it yourself. Using automatic arrangement, the required space can differ from product to product, thus, only the first symbol is displayed as a placeholder. As a result, ensure that the necessary space for all symbols is available. The manual positioning of the symbols is a little more work, but easier to visualize. After the first symbol, simply press Ctrl and drag the symbol further. This will create a copy of a symbol that can be easily positioned. Since the principle is the same everywhere, we will create the other fields quickly without further explanations. Our label template is now ready and can be used for creation of labels for any product. As mentioned at the beginning, the program fills the template optimally regardless of the amount of text to be output and always results in a neat label. In our second example, we will use an already finished label template to show you how variable fields, additional texts, lines and other design elements can be used. Several buttons are available for the adjustment of details on the screen. With a plus and minus key you can enlarge and reduce the image of the label. By clicking on ++ you get the maximum magnification, and with a symbol for the screen the complete label template is displayed on the screen again. You already know regular text fields, but there are additional text fields that can be filled in automatically by the program. Access the properties of one of these text fields and you will get to a screen where you can choose from various options regarding how the program should fill in this field. In our example, it is the heading 14220 from the safety data sheet. We could have also used predefined standard label phrases or different transport texts, flags or article groups. Standard label phrases are simply predefined text phrases that you can define together with translations as constant texts in the general maintenance for the labels. For phrases or tables from the safety data sheet, all phrases under the selected heading, and, depending on the settings, all subheadings are also output. For all types of transfer to a text field there are overviews from which you can select the desired text component. For the transport information, you can select from the different modes of transport. Variables are an important part of label design, where rather short text components are either inserted automatically, or where a prompt asks for input of information that is not available in the program. If you go into the definition of a variable, you can specify in the allocation field whether and how the variable should be filled in automatically. As you can see, there are many types of predefined allocations. Choose one of them and the program will automatically insert the corresponding text. If you do not select an allocation, the program will ask for the required information when printing. Examples of such fields are batch numbers or the date of manufacture, or any other information that ChemGes cannot know. The other information for the definition is self-explanatory and using these should not be a problem. When printing labels, a screen with all variables will appear. If the variables are not locked, you can change them there if necessary. The definition of various additional symbols is possible. These can be switched on and off separately as required at the time of printing. Lines are an easy way to highlight individual parts of text. To fill an entire area, you just need to define the line with the appropriate thickness. The last type of fields are constant fields, which should be printed on all labels without any change. As you can see, with a little practice, it should be possible for anyone to design visually appealing labels. The big advantage with this type of template is that any user can print out the labels they need within seconds, without having to have any further knowledge.